Once upon a time, I was having trouble with my account and just too many trades and using up all my buying power, using up all that oxygen and too much in one sector. And it was in the middle of a mess. And I had like 30 trades on. And I just knew that I needed a reset. I'd lost way of the fundamentals of trading. I'd been doing too much, not bad trades per se, but not A setup trades, B minus, C plus setups, sectors, overabundance of the same thing. And I just needed a reset. But it's hard to do a reset in a lively account. When your account's underwater or you're in the thick of things, it's hard to just do a reset. When it's game time, it's hard to get back to fundamentals. Fundamentals are won and lost in the practice field. So what I needed to do was get back to the practice field. I had to get back to basics before my account got back to zero. And what I did was I got with some companions of mine who had been wanting to trade, and they'd been wanting to set up an account, and they wanted to get into the market, and I needed a reset, and they wanted to open an account, and it seemed like a perfect combination. So, hey, get your juice box, grab a carpet square, and let's hear the story, the tale of the fur traders. Welcome, welcome, brothers and sisters. It is so nice to have you in again for a great little story about the fur traders and how they came into existence. And hopefully, along the way, it'll help some of you traders. And if you're a new trader or setting up a new account, there is no doubt in my mind that it will absolutely help you. So, enjoy this little tale. So, forever my sidekicks have been wanting to get into the market. They've been hounding me and they've been bothering me about getting in the market. They hang out, they've watched all the videos. Good Lord, so many videos and learning and reading and talking out loud about the market. They are pretty well schooled about the market. They knew how to trade, they thought. And so they wanted to get in. And me needing to reset myself, getting back to basics, what a perfect opportunity had befallen me right into my lap as to set them up with a new account, get myself back to basics, and just ground myself back to what I needed to do. So that's what we did. So I went to him and said, you know what, you talk it out amongst yourselves and see if that's really what you want to do. And if you want to set up an account, we'll do it. So they had a meeting, and lo and behold, they were on board. So to set up a new account, there are certain things that you need to do to get started, to begin trading, that you have to execute well and you have to be right on, because if not, it can cost you time and just a boatload of money. So the first thing you need to do is you need to learn how to trade. You need to understand the trading fundamentals. You need to understand about how trades work, how the stock market works. And if you're trading options, you need to understand at least the basics of options to get started. Because when you get started in a new account and you're trading options, there is absolutely zero chance you should trade a undefined risk. You should be defined risk every trade all the time for at least a month until you just understand how things work, how the market works, how the trade works, how the platform works. So you got to understand all these facets of it. So do not trade undefined risk in a new small account. You'll absolutely destroy it. You'll destroy it and you'll be like, well, I guess they were right. So please, when it comes to the stock market, when it comes to trading, it is no time for you to test the theory. It is no time for you to say, well, I know they told me not to, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. If you don't mind burning up your money that you worked hard for, or setting your money on fire and losing it in a matter of minutes, hey, no problem. Go ahead. And those lessons will cost you a lot of money. So please just listen to what we say to myself or another a reputable resource that you have in your life. Please listen to the warnings. And then if down the road you decide, well, you know what, I understand that warning and I'm going to blatantly ignore it, that's your business. But please listen to the warnings when you're a new investor, when you got a new account, when you got a small account. Please, please, please heed the warnings. Do not get your buying power too low, and make sure you understand what the heck you're doing inside of the options market. So the next thing you need to do is you need to find a platform, a brokerage. You need to have the access to trade, right? Makes sense, right? You need somebody to do that. And there are so many app type brokerages out there that they are very alluring to new traders. They're very alluring to get into, and I'm not totally vilifying them. but I'm telling you that is not the path that I would recommend. Now, once again, this isn't financial advice. It's just me talking about different strategies and ways to do things. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy looking to retire early, have a great life, and enjoy trading in the market and enjoy my retirement with other people enjoying theirs. So I like to retire early, and that's what's going to happen. So this isn't financial advice, but you do need a good platform. And the one I would recommend is Tastytrade. Yeah, I know it's a stupid name. But if you are serious about trading, if you want to trade in a platform where pro traders trade, where you have the best options and the best strategies, then there is absolutely no doubt that you should be in Tastytrade. I've been in the other ones, and I'm telling you, they will restrict you. You can't get in and out of options. It's just a bunch of hokey nonsense. They're not deceitful per se, but they're really not professional platforms. The one thing that made me leave the platform for the final straw, so to speak, was when they told me that I would have to call them hat in hand and beg them for 3 different calls to see if I could use my money to trade options the way I wanted to. Well, you can kiss the biggest part of my hind end, because I'm not doing that. I don't beg people to use my money and do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. It's my money. So that was me exiting immediately. Now, maybe you don't mind that. Maybe you're okay with that. You know what? But they can kiss my hind end goodbye, because I immediately left that platform and I went over to Tastytrade, and it's been absolute wonderful experience ever since. They let you trade as you see fit. You can trade complex options. You can trade basic options. You can do whatever with stocks, futures, crypto, on and on and on. Whatever you want to do, however you choose to try to lose your money, you got that option. But seriously, you need a professional platform. And if you choose to go with Tastytrade, there's a link down below where if you fund your account with $2,000, we'll both get $100. Full disclosure, I'm not trying to champion their cause, and I'm not trying to get $100. I'm just saying it's the best platform, and it's the one that you should use. And when you get into that platform, do not be scared. It looks like craziness. I mean, there's numbers everywhere and all kind of different columns that you can create and everything else. But after a while, it's a beautiful resource. Once you begin to learn how to flow in and out of that platform and learn what everything does, it's an incredible resource. So now you've got your platform, you've got your knowledge. Now, what else do you need? You need some money. You need to fund your account. And let me tell you, don't go half-hearted at this. If you can, put as much money as you can in it at one time. And the reason I say that is this, not because of any other reason, but to save you some heartache. It's a whole heck of a lot harder to trade a $1,000 account than it is a $5,000 account. You got to understand, you're not giving the money away. If you get in it and hate it, you can just pull your money right back out and transfer it to the bank. It's not like they keep it and it's all or nothing. This isn't Vegas. So get in there, and if whatever you can fund your account with, do that. Now, don't go high, high roller and start doing all these trades and everything. No, no, no. Stick to the fundamentals. Stick to the amount of buying power you should use with the defined risk trades. Take it easy. Learn the platform. Yada, yada, yada. Everything that you need to know. Do not skip a step, because you'll have to go back and repeat it. It's like a gap. When you see a gap in a stock, it's going back to close it almost every time. And when you skip steps, you got to go back and repeat it. So don't skip steps. Listen to what you're being told. Trust me, if I'd listened to everything I was being told, it would have been a much better and quicker experience with a much, much less steep learning curve along the way. There are lessons you're going to have to learn on your own, but don't make it the costly ones. Don't make it the big ones when we tell you certain things. So now you're going to fund your account. I started out in my account funding it with like $300, and then, giving, $50 a week and all this kind of stuff. And it's a hard road to hoe. It stinks. And I mean, if you could give, 5, 10, 20, $50,000 in there and then start off with just a little bit of it and trade, your life's going to be so much better, so much better. And again, you're not giving them the money. You can withdraw it if you want. And you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Well, withdraw your money and give it to something else. So the next thing is, you have to remember, you need a watch list. Well, what am I going to trade? Well, you need something to learn, to watch, to look at, to study, to make sure you see how it goes up and down, how it reacts to the market. Is it a big mover? Does it slide all over the place? Does it go one way too high or too low? Is it a pretty steady mover? And I tried to tell the new traders, I tried to tell the girls, it's like, look, I understand you need a watch list. But the problem is they're stubborn. They're crazy stubborn, and they only wanted to trade stocks that were cat stocks. I'm like, do you understand how hard that is? You understand how few cat stocks there may be on the market? Well, actually, I was kind of surprised because they got all kind of tickers. They got cat for Caterpillar. They don't really get into details. They saw cat, that cat was good enough. But they also got tickers like Purr and Kit and Play, and one of them's named Goose, and one of them's named G, and they have tickers. And they saw a ticker for a cat house, Rick. And I tried to explain to him that that's not exactly the cat house you're thinking, but I didn't really want to get into it with him. So now we trade Rick too. And you know what? Wolf and Bark and all these Petco and all these pet alliance, it's just been a neat experience. And it helped me get back to basics because I learned how to trade new tickers, how to look at new things, and it taught me the patience with new stuff. And here's the true story. I am completely product agnostic. I could care less what the company is. I do not care what they make, what they do, or whatever. It matters not. You could remove the name from the product completely. Just show me the fundamentals. Just show me what I need to create my edge to make sure all my stuff lines up for an A trade and I'm in. I don't care what they do. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter to you. You should be able to trade live cattle the same way you would trade Apple, the same way you would trade any stock along the lines, because the name doesn't matter. You have to watch what the ticker does. You have to know how the stock moves. You can look at the chart. I'm not telling you to read candlesticks yet. I'm just saying look at the chart. And anybody can understand if a chart's going up or down or sideways. Just get an understanding. Develop your edge. What are the things you're going to look for in your account for your edge? And I kept asking the girls, what are you looking for your edge? And they developed their theories. They developed their practices. They developed their watch list, Rick and all. And I said, well, this is not quite diverse enough. You're a little bit too heavy into sectors. So we looked at it and we agreed that we should probably put in Walmart and Kroger's and some others because, hey, that's where your food comes from. That's where your treats comes from. So they were all on board. Once they heard that's where the treats come from, Walmart and Kroger were absolutely part of it. They already got stuff from Amazon. So Amazon was part of the whole scheme of things. So we're on board. Fresh Pet, they love Fresh Pets. Fresh Pet's in there, on and on and on. Now we've got a good, solid watch list, 25, 30 names, and you want to keep building that watch list. I told him, I said, when we see new stuff on here, girls, we're going to put it on a watch list because we want that watch list of 50, 75 names. Because as their account grows, you're going to need a few more things to look at. And some days, you can look on there and just put on one solid trade. One solid trade in a day when you're brand new is absolutely fantastic. Don't get in a habit where you have to watch your buying power to see if you're going to live to fight another day. Don't get in that. It just be like, hey, the girls have a small account. The fur traders, I had to give them money. So, hey, they got no cash. So I give them some money to open up their account. So it's a small account. So they have to really watch what they're doing. And I have to be patient and watch for the best trades. And the best thing is, it has really worked for me to bring me back to basics and what I need to do. Some days we don't make any trades in their account whatsoever. Actually, some 2 or 3 days go by and we don't make trades in their account. We have, you as you become more familiar with the watch list, you see something happen, then hey, that's at a high point. It's time for me to enter, or low point. It's time for me to get on board here now. This thing's going nowhere. It always chops around here. So that kind of knowledge helps you to place your trades. Patience becomes more than a virtue. It becomes really your lifeblood. It becomes what you need to preserve your buying power, to make sure your account's going to make it. And the girls have really good patience. I mean, they like to take long naps in the afternoon. So they'll put on a trade or look for trades and go take a sleep. You're not like me. I used to search and search and search, said, hey, I got $100. Let me go find $100 trade to put on. That's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Money is never the main focus. Money is the side effect of you preserving your capital, making sure that your account stays on board, stays afloat, stays above ground. And all of this, you begin to realize how much your buying power is, in fact, oxygen. Without no buying power, you've got nothing. And if it's negative buying power, you've got less than nothing. So you have to start liquidating things, and all these problems arise. And it's just stick to the fundamentals. If I'd have just stuck to the fundamentals, I wouldn't have had to go to this whole regression. But hey, you know what? The girls wouldn't have had a trading account. They wouldn't have been the fur traders. So, I wouldn't have had a chance to look at all these cool cat stocks and all this craziness that made me realize, hey, I need to polish up my act a little bit here. I need to polish up my act before I get my hind end kicked. And now it's all going well. They're trading, the treats are flowing, the temptations are abounding, and they've been trading for a while. This is exactly how you want to do it, whether you be a cat or a person, to set up your new account. If you follow the steps we just talked about to set up your new account, stick to exactly what we just talked about, and keep educating yourself along the way about how to trade options, about stocks, about your watch list, and education. It never stops. Your education never stops, because you know why? The market is always changing. Right now might be a bull market. Well, right now it isn't a bull market. For the past couple of weeks, it's been a terrible bear market. And for this quarter in this year, 2026, it's been an absolute terrible market. It's been one of the worst starts in a very, very long time in the market. But you know what? That's fine. If that's what the market's going to do, we need to know how to play it. We can't just keep slamming the same thing against the wall and not wonder why it doesn't stick. If puts are working one day and they're not working the next, then we're not doing puts. If calls are working one week and they're not the next, then we stop doing calls. But you just have to be patient. You have to be agile, and you have to understand when you put on a trade, it can't just be for the sake of putting on a trade. It has to be a solid setup that you've researched, and the edges are right there, and it's what you want to do. And that's what I preach to the girls, and they've been successful at it. Their portfolio is up 11% to date. We're on a very small portfolio, but nevertheless, they've had some greatly successful trades. You've seen them. So just get in there and enjoy the education. Because if you don't enjoy the education you can give yourself, you're not going to enjoy the education that's going to cost you a bunch of money later. Hey, I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks for supporting the fur traders. Thank you for supporting me. Like and subscribe to the channel if you wish, but by all means, stick with it. Stay small, learn all you can, and slowly, incrementally graduate up. So thanks again for coming out. We'll see you. Hey, don't forget, Friday after the bell is actually Thursday after the bell this week, because it's Good Friday. And hey, we have the day off. So I'll see you on Thursday after the bell. Have a great day.